Okay, let's see. So we spawned in a birch biome, I'm guessing. Yeah. So this is my second attempt, because the first attempt I spawned in a Badlands biome, and that world was like just only bad. Oh, look at that, a village. Let's quickly loot this village, and then we will see what we can find. I don't think I'm gonna build here. I'm looking for a very open area just for space to build, because this world is gonna be heavily relying on builds and stuff. And someone's revving their engine outside. Yeah, so this doesn't look like it's gonna be where I'm gonna end up building, so I'm just gonna keep looking. And I found a igloo, and I believe that's a village over there. So I think I kind of got, yeah, that is. So let's see if this has the tunnel underneath. Nope, but I guess I'll take this furnace. But yeah, let's head over to this village real quick and see what we can find in there. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we found the place we are going to be living. I could have found a better place, but considering that I've been recording for the past hour just trying to find stuff, just because all of it has been snow biome, I think I'm just gonna settle down here, at least for now, and then we're just gonna get this moving. Now, we are going to be working on just making this all into a medieval themed village. So basically what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be breaking every single house down and instead just putting another, like a medieval looking building. And then once I do that, I'm gonna make houses, or like, if there's a house that, like for a blacksmith, I'll make it a blacksmith themed medieval house. And I'll just go quickly do that real quick. And it should take me a good amount of time, but I'm gonna do it. So best of luck to me. Okay, I just finished the first villager house. It's pretty basic, but after building that, it took me like 20 minutes just because I didn't have any of the materials. So finally I have a few trees. And so I think now I'm just gonna build my house, and then I'm just gonna, start working on all the other houses. And like any home, it's not complete until you put the bed down. All right, so I have my original house done. I think I'm just gonna add like a trail kind of leading into the village, but this is just a starter home. So now I'm just gonna try to complete, just kind of wiping out, or not wiping out, but transferring these into more medieval themed houses. Okay, so I finished this new building right here. It doesn't look the best. I'm gonna have to edit it a little more, but so now we have 3 buildings turned into medieval. Next, I decided I should start working on getting my villagers. So this villager I kept trying to get, and eventually I got a Fortune 3 book. Now this made me really happy because now I can get a lot of iron and a lot of diamonds and all that jazz. Next up, I finally built an anvil, and so I added a Fortune 3 book to an iron pickaxe. Now this was going to be my main source of getting any kind of ore. Now the good thing about this is I had put aside a few ores that I knew I should wait until I had a Fortune 3 pickaxe. So as you can see, I got those diamonds, and I just kind of kept looking, and I found a few more ores like gold, iron, redstone, lapis, that kind of stuff. And the good part about this is I found a lot more diamonds which I could use to make an enchantment table. Now the whole point of the enchantment table is just to get as much of the good items as I could. So I finally had enough to build a pickaxe, an enchantment table, and to get an axe later on. But now I needed to build a place for my enchantment table to go. So I kind of just assembled this little shack from a YouTube video I saw. And I didn't have all the books, so my goal for the next little while was to just go and kill some cows, get some leather, and eventually get paper just so I could finish and make it a full level enchantment table. Now eventually I did get another villager to get me a mending book, and I was so happy about that, as you can see with that little, yep. And so I also found an abandoned nether portal next to my house, which will actually come back later. Next to it, I did find a cherry blossom grove though, which is also really nice because I just really love how these trees looked, and so I wanted to put a lot over by my house. And as you can see in a little bit, it didn't take me very much time to go back, collect all the little saplings, and just start putting them as many places as I could. I only came out with about 3 though, which isn't too bad. And then I did find these skeleton horses, and I thought I was brave enough and had enough loot to get them, but I didn't. I also found a beehive and I decided to go fishing just because I needed to get up to level 30. And I figured that that would be a good way to also maybe find some enchantment books. And as you can see, I actually did end up getting one. After I got a few fish, I did get I believe it was Impaling 5 book. But it took me almost no time to go back to the enchantment table to enchant this pickaxe. Now I did end up just getting efficiency 3, which I was looking forward to getting more stuff, but it's fine because I can still work with this. Now I instantly went and just added a mending book, and then I believe I tried to save up as many more so I could start and so I could get a fortune 3 book. Now I did end up starting a melon and pumpkin farm just because I needed to get more emeralds so I could start trading more, and I did start doing more trades with like villagers and stuff like that. Now the good thing about my Fortune 3 pickaxe is I could get a lot of coal and iron to trade to all my different types of villagers. Now this would get me a lot of emeralds and most importantly XP, so I made a lot of trips back up and down the mines just to keep looking for as much iron and coal as I could. Also to get torches because I need to start lighting up this area just to keep all my villagers safe. But I did decide to start doing the lava sale, so I bought a bunch of buckets from a wandering trader and filled it up with as much lava as I could. Now this was going to upgrade it all the way so I could finally get more of the diamond armor. Now I didn't buy any in this video, that is going to happen in the next video, but I also started mining as much diorite as I could to sell to my stone mason. Now I also always went and tried to get clay to sell to this guy, but eventually you kind of run out of clay nearby your house, so I'd have to start making farther and farther travels. I also got another Unbreaking 3 book, and I decided to put that on a diamond shovel, which I also had fortune and efficiency 2. Now this would help me get a lot of gravel and more clay. And with all the clay and gravel that I got, I sold some flint to my weaponsmiths and my fletchers, just because this is the only way that I can really get emeralds. That's what most of this video just ends up being, is me just going to collect stuff to collect emeralds, XP, just so I could start making all my tools and items better. And now the good thing about looking for gravel is you also end up finding a lot of iron. And this iron will later come in handy as I'm going to start making more auto farms. Now, I'm not the best at redstone, and my goal for this series is kind of just to push the limits of what I can already do, and obviously to have as much fun as I can. Now, I also hate exploring caves because I keep dying in them, and I luckily haven't died in this world yet, which is a good thing, but I still am just going to not try to test my luck. So as I keep going, my toolsmiths and stuff start charging me more for the flint, which is okay, but I just keep upgrading all my items. Sooner or later, I'm going to be just invincible. Now I decided that if I'm going to be making some auto farms, I'm going to need quartz, and the only way I can get quartz is if I go to the nether. So I decided to chop down the ruined nether portal that I found, and I decided to build a giant tree base to fit the nether portal, but eventually I decided also that that was just going to end up being my main base. So the starter base is kind of just going to turn into a librarian area. So I started by making the base of the tree. It ended up just being 5 by 2 by 1 by 5. Now this is kind of a complicated design and it requires a lot of wood. Now I also ended up just spending the next few hours going back and forth bone mealing trees and cutting them down. This wore my axe down a lot, but I was actually getting really excited about how it was turning out. At first it didn't look very good until I started adding more details and branches and stuff like that. But as I started adding branches, I needed to cut down leaves, and this took a good amount of time of just constantly going and getting bone meal and then cutting down trees, getting all the leaves and putting them on. It was a very time-consuming process. I think it ended up taking me about 3 hours in total to build this base, which isn't bad because I was watching a tutorial on how to do it. Just because I'm not the best builder on my own, I like to watch tutorials, but I did end up pretty cool, which I'm not complaining about. Now after all this time, I was kind of thinking of all the different things I needed to do. I started focusing less on just how it should look, and I started focusing more on how it should function. And I decided that with the ender portal, I'm going to put a room in there, probably going to put a lot of storage, I'm going to have to make an entrance, and eventually I'm going to create a mine that has a bubble elevator and all this different stuff just to make it as efficient as I can. Now I kind of just went through decorating it. I just put a few torches and lanterns and stuff, mainly just because since the tree was so massive, a lot of mobs were spawning underneath. Now I was working on the interior. I didn't film it as much as I could have just because I was starting to run low on time. And so I just ended up putting the portal in. After a while I had to look at reference pictures just to make it look nice. Eventually I did add some stairs, and in the top area I planned to put my bed and chest and just anything I really needed. This was going to be my main area area. So I started lighting it up just because a lot of mobs were spawning inside the tree as well. So I kind of just spammed torches everywhere. I'm kind of lazy. I don't really try to make things look as nice as it could. Then I started going through with some bone meal, just trying to make the place look a little more natural. This wasn't really too hard. I killed a lot of skeletons that were just kind of camping underneath the tree, so I got a lot of bones to make bone meal. Then I kind of went through with some pumpkins and melons. I just needed to get as many trays as I could. Eventually I started to notice that each of my villagers needed their own place because I was having trouble finding where they actually were. But I did end up getting a Silk Touch book from a new trade that my librarian offered, so my axe was now able to cut melons without having to craft them into the actual piece. Now this would make trading a lot more easy just because efficiency is key. Finally, I kind of bravened up and I decided to go to the Nether. I had to go at some point. I almost forgot the cobblestone to actually make sure that a gas didn't blow up the portal and end my entire career. Luckily, I remembered last moment and that saved my life. But no matter what, the Nether will always kind of scare me, even if I'm wearing golden boots. But I decided to trade with some piglins. They didn't give me very good items, which I mean, I can't blame them because they can't really give you too good stuff. But after I came back, I decided that that would probably be a good place to leave this video. I went through looking at all the things I had accomplished. Now, I didn't end up turning the entire village into a medieval theme like I had hoped, but I was still pretty proud of how everything was looking. This tree base is nothing like I've ever done before. I still really enjoyed how it turned out, and I enjoyed all the cherry blossom trees and just how everything started looking in general. Now this is the end of the video, so I would just like to thank you for watching, and please make sure you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys in the next one.